Hi, this is Keith from BBC Learning English. Today, I'm going to tell you the differences between must and have to. Both must and have to talk about obligations. However, now we use have to when we talk about obligations others decide for us. It's a law or a rule, so it cannot be changed. For example, at BBC, we have to show our passes to enter the building. This is a rule decided by the BBC. On the other hand, we use must when we talk about obligations we decide for ourselves or others. For example, my boss might say to me, you must be more organized. Or I might say to myself, I must exercise more often.
I'm going to teach you some meanings of the word draw. The most common use is the verb form that means creating a picture or image. My cousin drew our family using different coloured pencils. We can also use the verb draw to mean attracting attention, someone wanting to look at something. For example, the singer is amazing. She will draw a big audience. Draw as a noun is used to describe competition results that are equal, like 1-1 or 2-2. For example, the football match ended in a draw. It was 1-1. So you can draw art, draw attention, and draw in a competition result. I hope our videos will keep drawing you in for more English lessons.
Hi, I'm Dan from BBC Learning English, and today I'm going to tell you the difference between those two confusing words, history and story. Both words are used for a description of events, so that makes them the same, right? Wrong, they are not the same. History is the description or study of past events based on fact, often to understand their consequences. Christopher Columbus arrived in America in 1492. A story is a description of a series of real or imagined events, often to entertain people. After arriving in America in 1492, Columbus and his crew were attacked by a giant man-eating T-Rex dinosaur. That didn't really happen, it's just a story. So, history is a description of past events based on fact, and stories are descriptions of real or imagined events, often to entertain.
Hi, I'm Georgina from BBC Learning English. In today's lesson, we're looking at mixed conditionals. We usually use mixed conditionals to talk about a past imaginary situation that has a present imaginary result. For example, if I had eaten breakfast, I wouldn't be hungry now. The first phrase uses the same structure as the third conditional. If plus past perfect. This is because it is a past imaginary situation. It's not true. I didn't eat breakfast. The second phrase uses the same structure as the second conditional. Would plus infinitive no to. This is because it is a present imaginary result. It's not true. I am hungry because I didn't eat breakfast. Don't forget to put the comma in after the if clause. Bye for now.
Hi everyone, we're going to talk about three verbs with very similar meanings today: hire, rent, and let. I'm mainly going to explain how we use these verbs in British English, but I will also mention some American usage too. Both rent and hire mean to pay for the use of something. However, in British English, we normally use the verb rent to talk about a long-term arrangement. For example, you can rent a house, flat, or TV. When talking about a short-term arrangement, we normally use the verb hire. For example, you could hire a car, a bike, or a suit. The difference in American English is that the verb rent can be used for both long and short-term arrangements. The verb hire has a completely different meaning. It's used to mean to employ somebody. Finally, we have the verb let. You might hear this word in the phrase room to let, for example, which means that the room is available to rent. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Bye.
Hi, I'm Saskia from BBC Learning English. Do you know how to use fine and finely? They can both be used as adverbs, but fine can also be used as an adjective. Let's look at some sentences. I broke my phone yesterday, but it's working fine now. Here, fine is an adverb of manner because it indicates doing something in a satisfactory manner. I was tired, but I feel fine now. Here, fine is an adjective, but notice how it sits after the verb and it means okay. I ruined the recipe! I forgot to finely chop the onions! In this sentence, finely is an adverb of degree and it describes how small something needs to be cut up. Right, I'm going to try that recipe again. I won't forget to finely chop the onions this time. Bye for now.
Hi, I'm Phil from BBC Learning English. Today, I'm going to tell you the difference between affect with an A and effect with an E. Just remember that affect with an A is a verb. It means to influence. So for example, tiredness is affecting my work. Affect with an E is usually a noun and it means the result of something. The effect of not having breakfast is to feel really hungry. Effect can be a verb, it's very formal and it means to implement something. The management affected a new policy. So if you find this difference affecting your English, just remember that affect with an A is a verb and the effect with an E is usually a noun. And the effect will be you don't make any more mistakes.
Hi, this is Keith from BBC Learning English. Today, I'm going to tell you 3 different ways of using the phrasal verb take off. First, we use take off to describe removing clothing. Whew, it's really hot here, so I'm going to take off my jumper. You can also separate take and off and say take my jumper off. Second, we use take off to describe something becoming successful. I'm going to be rich. My business has taken off. Third, we use take off to describe not going to work. I'm going to take a day off work tomorrow. So we can say take off my jumper or take my jumper off. My business has taken off. And lastly, take a day off.
Hi everyone, welcome back to English in a Minute. Today we're going to look at 5 different uses of the verb let. So let's get started. Let's is a way to introduce an idea or make a suggestion. Let's go for coffee. Phil let me borrow his pen. In this example, let means to give permission. I have a room to let in my house. In this example, the verb let means to hire or rent. So what I'm saying is that there is a room in my house that is available to rent. The man let the thief run right past him. In this example, let means to not stop or prevent something from happening. We're saying that the man didn't prevent the thief from running away. Let me take your jacket. This is a polite way to offer to help. Let's finish today's episode here. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Bye.
Sensible and sensitive are often confused, but they are quite different. Sensible means that you have good judgment or are very practical. Sometimes the most sensible thing is to ignore what people say and look at the facts. Sensitive is related to feelings. If you're sensitive, it can mean that you think about how other people feel. Be sensitive to people's feelings and they might agree with you. It can also mean that your feelings are very easily upset. Don't be too sensitive about your idea being rejected. So being sensitive is all about feelings and kindness. Being sensible is about being practical and wise. Do you think it's sensible to be sensitive to other people? Are some people too sensitive to make sensible decisions? Tell us what you think.